sis, you were saying something about the dress code over there? How you interpret it? Why don't you get up under the shade? Get up under the shade. I know, but get up. I don't want you to debate and get out of front of the sun. You say that you interpret it which way? No, 1 Timothy? Okay.
Like a man should not be trying to dress like a woman.
Right.
But I don't understand how that's still like
prevalent today.
Yeah, because European standards have taken like over
but
fashion.
But this is the European standards, right? So now let me put it to you like this: every nation has cultures, right? And a culture consists of what? How you dress, right? Different customs, food you eat, what you celebrate. You come right here, sis, come right here. Food you eat, stuff you celebrate, right? Now the Bible, God is giving the Israelites customs. So this has nothing to do with white people. You understand? All right? Has nothing to do with Europeans. Now the Israelites, give me Deuteronomy 4:27. Listen closely. Because I'm pretty sure they showed you that we are the Israelites, right? He said that to you over there, correct? Okay, now listen closely to what would happen. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
So what would God do to us? To these people right here.
Scatter them among the nations.
Scatter them. What do you mean what? They're going to be all over the world, in every nation, right? Now, because they're in every nation, those nations have what? Customs that they follow. You have black people that live in China, in Japan. Matter of fact, there was a famous samurai who was a slave in Japan named Yasuke, right? Yeah. Yasuke. And guess what? He kept Japanese customs. Was it because he's Japanese? No, it was because he was a slave there. You understand? So if the Israelites are given customs in the Bible to follow, give me Deuteronomy 28:64. Here's one of the things it says that we, number one, we be scattered in every nation, right? Hold the, yeah, y'all holding that down? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
So among all people we're going to be scattered, right? Read.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other.
That is from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere. We're going to be scattered all over the place, right? Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Now, once we get to these places, it says we're going to serve what? Other gods. What does that translate to, serving other gods? Following their customs.
Right.
Because the customs of the Japanese is their customs how they worship their god. Why do they get their custom of getting the Buddha, putting the incense in, and doing all the bowing and praying, all that bowing, all of the monks shaving their head? That's a custom, but it's a religious custom. You understand? Same thing with India, the people of East India that have the what do the women have on their forehead? They have the red dot. You never seen the red dot on the East Indian woman's forehead? They be wearing the scarves over their heads. All of that stuff is religious. Has to do with their God. So God gave us instructions on how to follow him, and it's our customs. Right. So you cannot compare a European man's customs that has nothing to do with this, because they weren't given these customs.
But how can you compare your customs to mine?
Because the Israelites are the blacks, Hispanics, and the natives.
That's right.
Let me ask you a question. How did the Hispanics get to this side of the earth? Hey, dang it. My backpack. Where's my backpack at? Did y'all get my backpack?
I gotta go. It's hot.
I know.
And my son is hot.
I got you. Hey, get some water.
For like 3 hours already.
I just want to ask you this question. How did the Hispanics get over here on this side of the earth?
I don't know.
Does the Bible tell you how they did?
I'm not sure.
It does. And it speaks about the 10 tribes of Israel.
Yeah. Ay. Reliving the book of the Acts. I carry my cross on my back. My homies so stuck in the trap. Going hard, ain't no time to relax. Keeping my mind on the throne. Applying the stuff I've been shown.
And guess what, sis? There's a bunch of books that talk about where you're from. But they won't tell you that. They'll tell you you came through the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait, even today, modern technology can't make it through. can't make it through. The ice tundras is too rugged, too rough for them to make it through. But they tell you, oh, your people walked through there. No, they didn't. The Bible's going to tell you how you made it to this side. Read that.
2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes.
The who?
The 10 tribes.
The 10 tribes of Israel. Have you ever heard of the lost tribes of Israel? It's these tribes right here. Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Naphtali. Which one do you see yourself as? Would it be Issachar, so-called Mexican? So you'd be from the tribe of Issachar.
That's right.
That's where you're from in the nation of Israel. That's your nation. You have a heritage. People came and conquered you and taught you Spanish as your conquering. As them oppressing you, they taught you Spanish. Right? That's not your native language. Even the songs you sing, the food that you eat, that's not native to you. Because they force you to do that. Now read that again.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the times of Hosea the king,
Read.
whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So this is when Northern Kingdom was in Assyria as slaves, right? It's going to tell you what happened to them. Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
So they said, we're going to leave from this side where they were. We're going to leave the multitude of the heathen. Read on.
And go forth into a further country.
Into a what?
A further country.
They're going to go to a further country. Where would that be? Read.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where would that be? That no man ever dwelt before.
Bring it
Thousands
out.
and thousands and thousands of years ago. Here. That'd be here. Read on.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
That's why y'all had customs where you would eat unleavened bread. Y'all know what y'all call it today? Tortillas. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Okay, that's the unleavened bread. That's what you read about that in the Bible. Where y'all wear fringes and a border of blue. Y'all kept those customs. Not anymore, because y'all got Americanized. Huh? Ponchos? Yeah, see? Y'all kept those customs because that's biblical. This is your biblical customs here.
Right.
But y'all got corrupted from not only the first slavery being in Assyria, but also the second slavery when they came over here. But read on, watch this.
And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
So they entered into the Euphrates coming down this way. Coming down, because you're right here. They entered in coming down this way. Into the Red Sea. Read.
For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood,
Read.
till they were passed over.
Read.
For thou that country there was a great way to go.
Through that country.
For through that country there was a great way to go.
Read.
Namely of a year and a half.
So it took them a year and a half to get from here all the way over here. It's going to show you that they got on this side of the earth. Read that. Read. We're talking about where the so-called Hispanics came from. The Bible tells you where they came from. We're about to show you that right now. It's in the Bible. Did you know that? You didn't know that because you know why? Churches don't teach y'all crap. They tell you to give your money, pay your tithes, and go home and feel good.
Right.
Then you can't repeat what the pastor said inside the church. But read on.
And the same region is called Ashereth.
It's called Arzareth. Now, the way that the 10 tribes, these 10 tribes right here, Ephraim, Manasseh, on down to Naphtali. Okay, today they're called Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Guatemalans, Dominicans, Colombians, Mexicans. That's what they're called today. But in the Bible, they're called these names right here.
That's right.
Of the nation of Israel. You are the real Israelites.
That's
what we're showing
right.
you. You have a custom and a culture.
Right.
You've been colonized and you've been oppressed by a certain people that taught you their culture,
Right.
their customs. And now we think that's normal today when it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal for us. That's normal for them, but it's not normal for us. Why is it that when we follow them, it turns out worse for us than it does for them?
Bring it out.
Why is that? Because those customs are not made for us.
Right.
God gave us our custom right here in the Bible.
That's
So
right.
God said that the place that y'all would go to when you left was called what? Read that last part again. Name what?
Arcereth.
It's called Arcereth in the Bible, okay? Now, we're going to read what Arcereth means in the dictionary. Y'all ready? Y'all want to hear this? Read what Arcereth means. Read.
This is the Jewish encyclopedia.
The what encyclopedia?
The Jewish encyclopedia.
This can be trusted, correct? This is trusted information. It's the Jewish encyclopedia, right? You agree? You're high school? Okay, so you're an intellectual. So let's pay attention to this. Listen closely.
Definition of Arcereth. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man.
That's what we read here, right? We just read that in the Bible. The Bible describes it the same way. Arcereth is a habitation far from man, okay? Hey, sis right here, I know you're on the phone, but I want you to hear it. It's some good information. Read on.
In which the 10 tribes of Israel,
Who?
The 10 tribes of Israel will dwell.
The Bible says that the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell in a far land. We're not even going to point here yet. Let's not point here yet, right? Read on.
Observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration.
Read.
According to 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 45.
That's what we just read. Call what you read again?
2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 45.
That's what we just read right now. Read on.
Columbus identified America.
Are you listening? Listen close. Listen close.
Guys, I gotta go.
Listen close. Listen close to this. Read.
Columbus identified America with this land.
What did Columbus identify this land with? America.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
y'all are the 10 tribes of Israel.
Right.
That's what we're trying to show y'all. But obviously, nobody cares. They love the American way, the American system. That's okay. That's okay. You know why? Because this place is going to burn. We were all taught the American system. We were all taught the American way. But guess what? We had to get out of that. That's when you get Romans 12, verse 1. Give me Romans chapter 12, verse 1. That's why God says you have to renew your mind. All y'all want to do is stay in the same, what America taught you is fine. I'll tell y'all this. When foreigners come to this land, everybody over here is strange. Everyone here is strange. Because y'all don't live like normal people. Y'all don't actually have a custom or a culture.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word